very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News, coming to you live and direct from the Prime TV studios with me, Abrar Abid. Now, before we go into our stories in detail, let's take a look at our headlines. Defence Secretary assures intelligence units are not disrupted. Cabinet approves expanding financial facilities of Enterprise Sri Lanka. 3,000 new nurses are to be recruited. France and Germany differ on Brussels' top job. Now, in our lead story, the Parliamentary Select Committee inquiring into the April 21st terrorist attack met for the first time today. Noteworthy is the opening up of the Select Committee to the media. The Parliamentary Select Committee is operative under the chairmanship of Deputy Speaker Ananda Kumarasiri. Since he is abroad, today's Select Committee was chaired by Parliamentarian Jayampathi Vikramaratne. The other committee members are Minister Rajitha Senaratne and Parliamentarian M.A. Sumanthiran. They too were not present today since they were out of the country. However, other members, Ministers Ravi Karunanayake and Rauf Hakim, and Parliamentarians Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, Nalinda Jayatissa and Professor Ashu Marasinga were present. Defence Secretary General Shantha Kottegura and National Intelligence Information Chief Cicera Mendes gave evidence before the committee. Defence Secretary General Shantha Kottegura, giving evidence, said that the intelligence units of the country are functioning and not disrupted. In more local news, 2 new ministers and a state minister today took oaths before President Maithripala Sirisena. Ranjit Madhumabandara was sworn in before President Maithripala Sirisena as Minister of Public Administration, Disaster Management and Rural Economic Development. In addition, P. Harrison was sworn in as Minister of Agriculture, Livestock Development and Fisheries and Aquatic Resource Development. Vasantha Senanayake took oaths as State Minister of Foreign Affairs. Air Marshal Sumangala Dias has been appointed as the new Air Force Commander. The new Air Force Commander received his letter of appointment from President Maithripala Sirisena at the President's office. Sumangala Dias has been appointed as the new Air Force Commander following the retirement of Air Marshal Kapila Jayampathi as the Air Force Commander. He becomes Sri Lanka's 17th Air Force Commander. Sumangala Dias was earlier serving as the Air Force Chief of Staff. He is a past pupil of Nalanda College, Colombo. He joined the Air Force on the 13th of December 1984, representing the 13th Cadet Corps of the Sri Lanka Air Force. He held several positions in the Air Force. He was appointed Deputy Director of the Air Operations in 2013 and thereafter appointed as the Air Force Chief of Staff on the 1st of October 2016. In more local news, 3,000 new nurses are to be recruited by August this year. This was revealed by Deputy Director General of the Nurses Administration Unit of the Health Ministry, Donald Morage. He made this revelation joining in a function held in appreciating the nurses at the Polonnaruwa General Hospital on behalf of the 199 Florence Nightingale commemoration. Mementos were presented on behalf of the appreciation of the nurses who are already in service. Polonnaruwa General Hospital Director Dr. Sampath Indika were among those present on the occasion. Deputy Director General of the Nurses Administration Unit of the Health Ministry, Donald Morage, said that a physical and human resources development is witnessed in the nursing service. The approved number of nurses so far is 40,000. They have the ability of overcoming the dearth of nurses by 2025. The government has decided to expand financial facilities given under the Enterprise Sri Lanka program. Cabinet approval has been granted for the implementation of the proposals in this respect. Cabinet approval was granted for more proposals. Relief loans are being given to small and medium-scale enterprises. Young men and women, women entrepreneurs, self-employers, graduates and overseas employees via the Enterprise Sri Lanka, a leading program of the government. This is being done under 17 loan schemes. 81 billion rupees had so far been given as loans to the recipients. The government's intention is to further expand this loan. The government has taken a decision to implement an accelerated program for middle-income houses and infrastructure development. Its aim is to provide housing facilities to middle-income wage recipients, both in the state and private sectors. Cabinet approval was received to increase the loan given under this program to 10 million rupees and decrease interest proportion to 6%. The Cabinet approved the immediate implementation of a budget proposal to improve sanitary facilities at bus stands and railway stations. The government's intention is to launch at the Grama Niladari level an organization titled Gamarakamu to support national security. This decision has been taken considering the situation that surfaced as a result of the Easter Sunday terrorist attacks. The government's intention is to implement a tourism development program to minimize the negative impact that affected the tourism sector from the Easter Sunday attacks. The Cabinet approved several schemes in this respect. The support of tourist guides who bring them to the island will be solicited. Cabinet nod was also received to seek proposals for the promotional programs such tourist guides operative in some countries. In more local news, the government is focusing its attention on granting relief requested by the private bus owners. It follows a discussion held by a group of representatives, including President of the Lanka Private Bus Owners Association. Accordingly, the government has drawn its attention to the demands made to grant relief to the private passenger transport services after the April 21st terrorist attack. A relief period for the payment of leasing is among the demands. About 40% of the 20,000 private buses that are operating at present had been purchased under the leasing system. Discussions at this meeting centered on the leasing installment and the solution that can be found for the repayment of those loans. The Finance Ministry is scheduled to present a package of solutions in this respect. The release of explosives that were temporarily suspended, taking into consideration the security environment of the country, has resumed. The issue of explosives that were temporarily halted by the Security Council was resumed on the instructions of President Maithripala Sirisena. Instructions have been issued to obtain the quantity of explosives required for state and private institutions from the Government Commercial Explosives, Firearms and Ammunition Purchasing Unit based on the permit of the District Secretary. Also, the explosives required for industries carrying out excavations can be obtained by producing the permits to the District Secretaries. More information can be obtained from the District Secretaries and through contact numbers 0112 958 227 or 0112 335 798. Now, in more local news, leader of the Mahason Balakaya movement, Amit Veerasinghe, has been further remanded until the 4th of June over charges of inciting communal tensions in the country. The remand order was issued during a hearing before the Colombo Magistrates Court today. The Colombo Crimes Investigative Division submitted a report containing evidence against the suspect to Colombo Additional Magistrate Shalini Pereira. The court also heard that the police were conducting further investigations on the suspect under the Public Security Ordinance, Emergency Regulations and the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The attorney representing the accused had requested court to release the defendant on bail. Accordingly, the magistrate declared that a decision regarding the request would be announced on the 4th of June. The Maravilla Magistrates Court today has granted bail to 31 suspects who were involved in the recent unrest in the Nathandia Kottaramulla area, while ordering that the suspects be released on surety bails 50,000 rupees each. Maravilla Magistrate Sirimevan Mahendra Raja adjourned court sittings until the 28th of August. The case filed against Yoshita Rajapaksa and his grandmother Daisy Forrest with respect to the purchase of a land at Mihindu Mawatha was taken up for hearing at the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court today. The case has been filed by the Police Financial Crimes Division. It informed the court that the investigations had been completed and handed over to the Attorney General. It further said that no advice had been received to file charges. The case will be taken up again for hearing on the 27th of November. A group of Sri Lanka Freedom Party parliamentarians called on the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura Nikaya, the most venerable Kottugoda Dhammavasa Thera.
Action was initiated to apprise the Mahanayaka of the package submitted by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party MPs to the Supervision Committee on Security in Parliament. A copy of the document containing the proposals was handed over to the Mahanayaka. Mahanayaka of the Amarapura Nikaya, the most venerable Kottugoda Dhammavasa Thera, said that yesterday he prepared several proposals that should be forwarded and handed over to the parliamentarians. There is a difference between the two. It is more important if this small country is made to work as one country after considering the crisis that surfaced in the island as a good sign in order to carry it forward. It seems that this would be successful. He said that he believed that all the small and big parties would get together to establish a better administrative mechanism irrespective of differences. Parliamentarian Nimal Siripala De Silva said that what they expected through this legal network was to create the background rather than short-term results that would not end the terrorist activities. He said that they initially expected to bring a bill that would prevent hate speech. MP Mahinda Amaravira said that they have totally prepared the necessary program without attempting to achieve political mileage and without remaining silent after presenting this package of proposals. He said that they received the support of all political leaders. Meanwhile, at a media conference held at the Sri Lanka Freedom Party head office, parliamentarian Shantha Bandara said that on one hand, by strengthening national security, and on the other hand, while working in building unity among the people, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party expects that it would receive the necessary support to undertake necessary policy changes that should be effected with the new world and technology.
In more local news, the Turkish embassy has denied a statement made by the Venerable Galagoda Atte Nyanasara Thera that Sri Lanka was receiving $40 million through a special fund from Turkey to influence after designing fake news. The Turkish embassy said that the Thera had made this statement over a private TV channel recently.
The Turkish embassy in Sri Lanka in its statement further said that there are strong mutual relations between the two countries. Accordingly, Turkey was extending humanitarian and technological assistance to Sri Lanka from 2004, and it also includes direct assistance. Turkey was implementing various projects within Sri Lanka. Among them is the Midigama Tsunami Housing Project. The Turkish embassy said that in addition to an assistance project for the displaced in Mana, they were also helping on behalf of a child welfare project in the north. Turkey has also given technical assistance for the Peradeniya University as well as for fishermen and farmers in Trincomalee. It is also supporting the reconstruction of reservoirs in the Ampara area. At the same time, in its statement, the Turkish embassy opined that it had granted cameras and laptops for local journalists. Training programs are being launched for journalists in addition to vocational training. All these activities are being done with the full transparency and not with any other motives. It emphasized that Turkey will continue with its assistance programs in the future.
In more local news, the Ministry of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine has said that regulations to introduce color coding for sugar, salt and fat contained in solid and semi-solid food items will come into effect from the 1st of next month. The related Gazette notification was issued on the 17th of last month. The primary objective of introducing the regulation is to serve as a guide for the people suffering from non-communicable disease, whose numbers are currently growing in the country, when choosing food based on levels of sugar, salt and fat contained, and also to create an awareness among the general public with regard to food. The ministry says that all necessary steps have been taken for the displaying of color codes for sugar, salt and fat contained in solid or semi-solid foods manufactured after June 1st. The Gazette states that no person shall package, sell, expose, for sale or advertise any solid or semi-solid food which contains specified amounts of sugar, salt and fat unless such food is labelled in the manner as specified in these regulations. Now, in the weather forecast, the Department of Meteorology has forecast that showery conditions are expected to enhance to some extent over the southwestern part of the island during today and tomorrow. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in western, southern, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces. According to the Met Department, several spells of showers will occur in northwestern province. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Uva province and in Batticaloa and Ampara districts after 2 p.m. Fairly heavy falls of about 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in western, Sabaragamua and central provinces and in Gaul and Mathura districts. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. The public are called upon to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. The Department of Meteorology also forecast showers or thunder showers occur at several places in the sea area extending from Puttalam to Hambantota via Colombo and Gaul. Winds will be southwesterly and speed will be 20 to 40 kilometers per hour in the sea areas around the island. Let's now take a look at the very latest in the business arena. Sri Lanka's government has given the go-ahead to 4 private energy companies to build 1 megawatt solar power plants in the eastern Trincomalee and southern Monoragala districts. The State Information Office said the projects were approved under the government's Surya Bala Sangramaya program to set up solar power plants in several parts of the island. The contracts were approved by the Cabinet of Ministers this week on a proposal Power, Energy and Business Development Minister Ravi Karunanayake. And that is all the news for today. Prime News returns tomorrow, and in the meantime, do visit our website www.itnnews.lk, your go-to source for the very latest in news at home and overseas. For the Prime TV News team, I'm Abrar Abid. A very good evening and take care.